Welcome to the Healthy Happy Human Show. This is one of a kind.
Hello everyone, welcome to a very exciting episode of the Healthy Happy Human Show.
The Healthy Happy Human Show is here to help you attain physical, emotional, and mental well-being.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Healthy Happy Human Show. And with me today is...
I'm Dr. Rose.
Dr. Rose, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here too.
That's great. So today we have a very exciting topic that we'll be discussing. But before we proceed, please follow us on our social media platform at Healthy Happy Human, and also turn on your post notifications so you get notified whenever we put out our amazing content online. Today we'll be talking about sickle cell disease. So Dr. Rose, please tell us, what is sickle cell disease?
Thank you very much. Well, sickle cell disease is an inherited genetic disorder that is characterized by abnormal hemoglobin in the red blood cell. So what I mean by hemoglobin basically is that it's a protein in the red blood cell that carries oxygen around the body. So in the case of sickle cell disease, what happens is that there's a genetic mutation, more like an alteration that causes the production of an abnormal hemoglobin. We call it the S hemoglobin. So this hemoglobin basically just causes the red blood cells to become rigid and sickled shape. So that's where we get the name sickle cell disease.
Interesting. So how do people get sickle cell disease?
Like I said earlier, sickle cell disease is inherited.
Okay.
So basically what happens is that when a man with sickle cell traits, for instance, meets with a lady carrying the same...
What do you mean by sickle cell traits?
The abnormal hemoglobin S.
Okay.
Someone carrying the sickle cell trait, that means the person is AS.
All right.
So when the person comes, meets with someone like a lady with the same AS, so basically is AS meeting with AS, so they give birth to a child. When they give birth to this child inherits one of the abnormal gene or one of the abnormal traits from both parents, and then that leads to the baby becoming SS. You understand? So basically the parents are the carrier of this AS trait. It's not like they are sick, they are not diseased humans. I'm not saying AS is a disease, no. So what they do is, once they give birth to a child that is SS. So the child now is the one with the sickle cell disease.
Okay, interesting. Dr. Rose, I'd like you to tell us more about this sickle cell disease. How does it present? What are the symptoms?
Well, for sickle cell disease, it comes with a lot of symptoms. Like, it can vary from mild to severe symptoms. So what we have in a child with sickle cell disease, you see them, they have symptoms like pain crisis. So when I mean pain crisis, they just come up with pains every now and then.
Okay.
They could come up with their hands and their feet become swollen at some point in their life. Then they have jaundice, they have anemia, what we call shortage of blood. They also have things like, they are very susceptible to infections. So all these symptoms they present with, there are some things that precipitate these symptoms, like maybe when the child is dehydrated, when the child is stressed. When I say stress, I mean it could just be sporting activities in school or maybe at their workplace. These things, when they are exposed to extreme temperatures like cold, this can trigger their crisis. So you basically see them coming with jaundice, they come with pains, they come with shortage of blood, like I said earlier, and a host of symptoms.
Okay, interesting. So is there a cure for sickle cell disease? Can it be cured?
Well, there's no cure for sickle cell disease, but it can be managed, and there are a lot of ways that we could manage sickle cell disease depending on what they present with. Actually, for like the pains, in case they're having what we call pain crisis, you can give them pain medications, but the first thing is that you try to avoid anything that would trigger their crisis.
Okay.
Yes, so you keep them hydrated every now and then you make sure they don't do extreme, or they are not going into environments where the temperature is on the high side, like maybe winter period and all that. So for pains, we give pain medications. In case where they have shortage of blood, we do blood transfusions for them. We place them on supplements too. And then for antibiotics, we give antibiotics where they come down with some infections and all that. So it's just basically we just manage the sickle cell disease. But in some cases too, we can do bone marrow transplant. For now, that's one of the surest way we can avoid these whole crisis issues they normally come down with.
Okay, interesting. So how affordable is this bone marrow transplant?
Well, I can't really say. I can't say, okay, this is the amount or this is how much it will cost you, because personally I've never had any patient that I would say, okay, they went for bone marrow transplant and I can give example that this is how it. No, I don't know how.
Okay, interesting. So as you mentioned, there's no cure for sickle cell disease.
Yes.
So are there any form of complications that can occur in future as a result of someone having sickle cell disease?
Well, yes, there are complications that can arise from sickle cell disease, like stroke.
Okay.
Yeah, from that they can come down with stroke at an early age in life. They can have vision issues like eye problem. They can have when they eventually get pregnant, for the ladies, they come down with different complications during their pregnancy. They could even result in stillbirths and all that. They could have, since they're always susceptible to infections, they can develop organ damage.
Okay.
Like their spleen, their lungs, their chest, their hearts, basically. So they come down with lots of complications. The most common one you see is this all of a sudden shortage of blood. Yeah, so that's one of the common complications they normally have.
Okay. So I would like you to tell us again, who are those people that are at risk to sickle cell disease?
Well, like I said, for someone who is AS, getting married to or bearing a child with another person who is AS, there's a 20% or 25% chance of giving birth with each pregnancy to an SS child. So people who are basically AS should, I don't want to say avoid, but it's not advisable that they should get married to AS. People who are SS should also not get married to AS. So they can go for people with AA genotype. So basically from AA, either you are AS or SS, you should most likely go for someone. It's advisable that you go for someone with the AA genotype.
Okay, interesting. In today, we still discover that there's still a few cases of sickle cell babies being born with sickle cell disease. So what advice? How can it be avoided?
Yeah. So in a nutshell, it's the most important thing is before you say I do to that man, to that lady, it's advisable that you go to the hospital and do a genotype test. If possible, do a confirmation test from 2 different facilities and be sure. At least if you do the first one, it comes out, you do a confirmation test for both of you, and then you're sure that okay, you're not a carrier of the sickle cell gene, then you can go ahead and marry, because it will save you a lot of stress in the nearest future.
Okay. So my final question before we conclude, for genotype, does it stay the same throughout an individual's life, or can your genotype change? You know, because we've heard some people say, before I used to be AA, now I'm AS. Like, is that even possible? Is that a thing?
Well, medically, it doesn't change.
Okay.
You're AS for life. Except there is maybe wrong result.
Okay.
And when you did the test initially, they gave you the wrong. That's why I said confirmation test. So, but medically, your genotype stays with you for life. It doesn't change.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from Dr. Rose herself. She says your genotype doesn't change. It stays with you for the rest of your life. So if you don't know already, I think you should get checked to verify your genotype. Once again, thank you all for viewing, for joining us on the show. Please do well to like our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and drop your comments if you have any questions, your thoughts. We're more than happy. We have a team of well-experienced and trained medical practitioners that are willing to answer your questions. Once again, thank you all for joining us today.
Welcome to the Healthy Happy Human Show. This is one of a kind.
Hello everyone, welcome to a very exciting episode of the Healthy Happy Human Show.
The Healthy Happy Human Show is here to help you attain physical, emotional, and mental well-being.